Hi, I'm Connor Charlton and this is my video CV, where I give you a summary of my background, skills and experience. So, who am I? I'm a data scientist and statistician looking for a company working to find new and innovative applications of statistics and machine learning in their sector. I have experience building ML pipelines in Python, statistical analysis software in R, for organizations across both research and healthcare sectors, experience using SQL, versioning tools such as Git, and containerization tools such as Docker. I'm a fast learner, I like feedback and constructive criticism, and although I like to experiment and try solutions myself first, I'll never allow myself to be blocked for too long. I'm honest, and when I'm stuck on a problem, I will always flag it to ensure that it doesn't become a slowdown for the organization as a whole. So, where did I begin? Well, I grew up in London, but I moved north at 18 to study maths at Durham University. Why did I study maths? Well, I'm a systematic thinker. I like to understand problems at a deep level. And mathematics is a subject that builds vertically. So knowledge compounds. To understand theorems, you have to understand the whole knowledge stack beneath them. And maths underpins so much of our understanding of the world. It interlinks with our understanding of many other phenomena. So in addition to a rigorous analysis of all the nuts and the bolts, it requires a big picture understanding of how all those fine details interrelate, because it is such an interconnected subject. So what did I cover in my bachelor degree? Well, I covered all the foundational mathematical topics, calculus, analysis, algebra, probability, statistics, mathematical physics, but also I did deep dives into topics like mathematical finance, including things like stochastic calculus, partial differential equations, and my favorite specialism, which was Bayesian statistics. I liked it because I thought it was the most principled approach to statistics. Then my bachelor thesis was on the imputation of missing values, specifically how to optimize clustering and association rule mining algorithms for datasets with missing values. And I was able to demonstrate that for datasets with values missing completely at random, so that's a certain missingness pattern, if they were beyond a certain missingness threshold, a threshold of about 30% missingness, then multiple imputation-based methods were superior to single imputation-based methods, but only beyond that threshold. So next, I moved to Switzerland to study statistics at ETH, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Why statistics? Well, I think given the ubiquity of data, statistics complements so much of our understanding of the world, and it can be used to generate insights that can't be generated any other way. What did I study during my degree? Well, we covered the classical statistical topics, derivations related to prediction and inference from both frequentist and Bayesian perspectives, time series analysis, computational statistical methods, robust statistics. But we also covered more modern machine learning approaches for regression, classification, compression, active learning, reinforcement learning, Bayesian deep learning, all of these including neural network-based methods, but not limited to. With regard to language modeling, we looked at specific architectures, RNNs, transformers, augmentations of those architectures, enhancements such as chain of thoughts, pre-training objectives, security and privacy considerations related to LLM integration to other technologies. We looked at engineering considerations such as data model, pipeline, tensor parallelization techniques for GPU optimization, data management, storage, querying, and other necessities for collaboration on large projects, containerization, versioning. So what was my thesis on? Well, my thesis was on the expressivity of RNN and transformer-based language models equipped with chain of thought. What does that mean? Well, the expressivity of a model is the total range of possible probability distributions over strings that the model is capable of encoding. So a model is said to be able to express a particular probability distribution over strings if there exists a parameterization of that model for which it samples strings in accordance with that probability distribution. As of 2023, there was plenty of empirical evidence mounting for the efficacy of chain of thought in improving LLM's performance on a range of question answering benchmarks, but across multiple topics. So that motivated researchers prior to us to derive qualitative results, mathematically derived qualitative results on the representational capacity of those models to try and prove that it does actually increase the expressivity of the model when you use chain of thought. And we built on that by making those results quantitative, actually deriving results specifically in terms of the precision of the neurons and the length of chain of thought that they use. So, what industry experience do I have? Well, I worked as a teaching assistant in the largest machine learning class taught at ETH. I prepared problem and solution sheets for and delivered problem classes to lecture halls of hundreds of students, where I explained the underlying theory as well as walking through the solutions to the problems that I had set them. This obviously develops my ability to explain deeply technical concepts, which is a skill that's transferable to other stakeholder groups as well. Working at Lightly, I helped them to build a data curation pipeline for the training of their agentic models. So this helped to develop my commercial understanding of the training process and how companies are scaling it, and in some cases customizing it. Interning at Thomson Reuters Labs, I learned about how they were building NLP-based products and integrating them into their legacy tech product offerings. So that helped to build my organizational understanding of how these projects are run and how companies plan to monetize them, especially in the tax and legal spaces. At Axiologic, I helped to prepare their digital transformation delivery handbook, and my experience there gave me insight into how software as a service companies market and sell their services and the content that they're expected to deliver as tech consultants. My time with them also extended through COVID, so it was extremely exciting. We were working on the COVID vaccination booking service, which needed to be delivered extremely quickly, of course. If it had been the limiting factor on the ability of people to get vaccinations, that would have had disastrous health consequences for the country. So that was for sure the highest pressure work environment I've ever been in, and it really gave me an insight into the culture that's required to thrive in that environment. Working at Public Health England, I worked solo on a software program in R to analyse the prevalence rates of cancer across demographic groups and how they were trending over time. So that was my only technical work experience where I worked pretty much completely solo. So that was quite a valuable experience in terms of learning how to take initiative and make decisions on my own. But also I did get feedback at the end which really helped me to understand expectations with regard to conforming to industry and company standards on code formatting and structuring. So it was a very valuable experience. Outside of studies, what do I do? Well, in my free time, I like playing rugby. I've played in 4 teams across 3 countries, in 3 cities, across 2 countries. And I think it's been my favourite way to meet new friends, not just teammates, but also people in the teams you play against. Rugby is a tough sport. Obviously, it involves injuries, exhausting training sessions, and it requires a lot of discipline to keep working when it gets tough. But I think it's exactly that atmosphere that makes it such a great place to make close friends. I think when you are able to push each other through those hurdles, that is actually what brings you closer together. It's that shared experience that actually enables it to be a great way to make close friendships. Another hobby of mine is reading and listening to podcasts, especially on history, politics, technology, sciences. My favourite books I've read recently, I would say, would be Chip War by Chris Miller and Destroyer of Worlds by Frank Close. And podcasts, I would say The Rest is Politics and The Rest is History, probably my favourite podcasts. So yeah, that's what I get up to in my spare time. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to my video CV. If you'd like to know more, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me on LinkedIn at Connor Charlton, that's all lowercase, no spaces, or you can email me at connor.charlton@icloud.com. I would love to hear from you, and yeah, goodbye for now.